Welcome again to BOCI TV, to our share segment where we share and collaborate together with various different people within certain subjects or industries. And today we're tackling the subject of what to do when that pink slip comes or when you just want to change. And we've talked with Chris Bonner, who worked from construction worker to cosmetology school. That one just blew my mind.
Yeah, construction to cosmetology.
Because they go together so well. And then we talked about being a stay-at-home mom and then entering the workforce, and then the wonderful information that Margaret Banks just gave us on that transition, time too. And now we have John Sylvester here, who is an entrepreneur in and of his own right. And you have had experience in growing real estate businesses, professional consumer services, meaning doctors and attorneys and such, and the entertainment industry, and you've done that all across the country. But here locally, are you a part owner, investor? What do you call it?
Yeah, co-founder. Myself and Eric Evans, co-founder.
With
Saatchi.
Saatchi, which is clothing design and now a salon inside of the store, also boutique, really more along that line, in downtown Memphis in the art district. And you had all these bullet points that was fantastic to talk about on the entrepreneurship. We've talked about going into other fields, but we're going to talk to you about, okay, I'm going to do it myself. And how do you build it yourself? You've built all these other companies. You've helped people. We talked earlier, and I was blown away that for a tour, a musical group that went on a tour, you developed a business plan. And I never ever thought, oh, they have to develop a business plan for a tour. But those types of things are important to do. What would be your first advice, or how did you even get started in opening and becoming an entrepreneur yourself? Did you get that pink slip and move on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you really?
I did, believe it or not. I spent about 8 years. I left college and wasn't really 100% sure what I wanted to do. I didn't take a major or anything like that I knew I was going to go into a focus with. My idea was go into school, learn how to learn, and that's what I wanted to do. And when I got out, I had a choice to either move to Chicago with my family or stay in Memphis and go get a job. So I did, and I landed with a company here in service called ServiceMaster.
Oh yeah,
and
that's one of our big ones.
My first job was actually as a supervisor in a call center there, but it was my first exposure to leadership. And it took me all of a matter of about 2 months to really find out that I didn't really care what the job was, but growing and leading people was an important part. It's something that I valued almost immediately.
So you were learning about yourself.
It was an absolute instant click, absolutely. And so I just started inundating myself with understanding really what makes people tick, right? How do you get other people to get motivated and achieve results? And that's really, in my opinion, what leadership is all about. It's influence. It's how do you get people to achieve results through their own actions. And so I spent 8 years with them. I left as a director of operations. ServiceMaster was sold, and they decided to go different directions with some of the programs that we were working on at the time. The new ownership was. And I didn't leave with contentment or anything like that. I had a great experience with them. They gave me opportunity at an age where I would never have been able to replicate that anywhere else. So I took some time off, and I'd always had an interest in entrepreneurship. When you look at some of the people who are happiest about what they do and are most successful about what they do, it's the ones who have it in them, not on them, right? It's the ones who have passion and talent for the things that they do, and they're willing to take the risks to go get it. And I think that's an important thing. Anyone who's around entrepreneurship or people thinking about career change, and we've talked a lot about that, 70% of this country wants to work for themselves, right?
Yeah.
You ask grown adults, about 7 out of 10 will say, I want to be my own boss. I think the difference between the ones who make it and the ones who don't are the ones who are committed and not just interested. There's a world of difference between those two things. Everyone is interested in success. Everyone is interested in owning their own business or being their own boss. There are very few that are committed and willing to do it. And so, I spent the better part of the last decade studying and learning about not just other businesses, but really who were the people behind them and what were the environments that really made that to be successful. And what you find is that there is a level of predictability in almost any facet of success that you can find. The trick is figuring out how much of it you can predict and how much of it you can't. And so that's what kind of got me started. The businesses I'm involved in now, I look for talent. I look for people who have talents that I could never have. If it was just about me going out and starting my own business, I'd be in trouble because I can't draw, I can't create, I can't, I don't know a lot about websites and some of those things, but there are a lot of people out there that do.
Uh-huh.
And I think if there's any talent, it's, the ability for me to find talent and then build off of what they can do and kind of focus a little bit on my own.
Now, how do you go about building the talent? Are you the pep rally? You can't be the pep rally. You got to have.
No.
What is involved in building that talent and building the entertainment, building the music things that happened? You mentioned you helped Justin Timberlake, or you worked with the company that he had. How do you build? I mean, you've already got that name, but the name doesn't get you very far. The business has to be correct, right?
Right, absolutely. It's a process, right? And it's first and foremost, it's creating out of a lot of complexities, and we talk a lot about the industries that we're in, and anytime you go out and you have a conversation with someone and they hear you're involved in real estate and clothing, and we have recently added a salon to the store, it's, what is this chaos that's there? And the only way I can really answer that is by saying out of intense complexities, intense simplicities can actually be found. And we do, it's very similar principles that we follow, and no matter what industry we're in. We're very much focused on not being married to the ways of doing things, but an end-all goal of where we want to be. And no matter what organization we're talking about, I think that's one. Two is getting people on board that understand that, and that you don't feel a need to manage, really, per se. With talking about 10-man records, and the band was Free Soul, and that's actually how Saatchi was kind of born through it, and through an area about connections and networking. Everything I'm involved in deals with either a previous client or someone I've met through some sort of networking or business contact. So it's an important facet of really how you're able to grow those things. But you're able to understand that you are what you measure, right? And what you find is a lot of entrepreneurs, they get into certain things because they're very good at a task or a skill set. Be it a plumber who starts his own business, or a photographer who's very good at taking pictures. But once you do it for a living and you go beyond just making it a hobby, and you make the commitment about making it a living, well, you've added a whole layer of complexity to this, because now you have to market yourself. You have to make sure that you keep expenses down and watch your overhead. You have HR issues if you're going to hire. You have legal. You've got to protect your name. You have all of these things, these spokes that go into this wheel, and a lot of the times these owners just want to go work on an HVAC system, or just want to go take pictures. Well, if you just want to go do that, again, the question becomes, do you want a hobby or do you want a business?
Yeah.
And so that's really where I kind of come in, is somebody who can kind of be a catalyst for pulling those spokes together and creating simplicities out of what seems like a lot of complexity.
So you're doing that for Eric Evans right now at Saatchi, which is, he custom makes clothing and beautiful stuff. We've worked with him before. So he strictly just does the store, and he makes clothes and designs clothes, and you run all the business end of it, correct? Now, do you you're not hired in to do that, or do you do that too for other companies sometimes? Or do you
Yeah,
literally put yourself into it and as an investor?
You know, we spent a lot of time figuring out what we wanted to do with this business model with Saatchi. And, you know, we made a decision early on, Eric and everybody, and Darren Hughes, who's our investor in that business as well. And we made a commitment to say that, look, we weren't going to just grow a business with this one. We were going to take a business plan that understood going into South Main, which is a historic district here in Memphis, and one that has seen its peaks and valleys and is largely untapped, especially 3 years ago when we started it, that my job was going to be to take Eric's talent and now Rachel, his wife, who's our master stylist there, and both of them are extraordinarily talented in what they're doing, and work with them on growing businesses, but also doing that by collaboratively getting the other businesses in the district together and growing a neighborhood and a community. And so over the last 3 years, we've grown Saatchi with also a lot of the progress that we've worked on in the South Main district, which you guys will be hearing a lot about.
So to make one business work, you had to go out and help other businesses work too.
I'm a firm believer.
Collaborative effort.
Right. I'm a firm believer in the fact that, you know, healthy businesses thrive in healthy communities. And, you know, we took advantage of an opportunity to, for us, capital was tough to get to start up. The City of Memphis was offering grants and forgivable loans, and so we definitely wanted to take advantage of that. But we also knew that foot traffic was going to be an issue. And for anyone who understands retail, if you don't have people coming into your stores, it's fine. And in an environment about change, what we're talking about today, you know, that business model started with just us doing our own clothes. About 6 months later, we realized it wasn't going to work. So we changed it to bringing in other brands that would help us build what our brand was. 6 months after that, we realized it wasn't enough. So we added in a salon because those two stylists had good foot traffic and they had good existing businesses. So.
Okay. So does anyone have questions for John? This is a mind to tap, let me tell you. If you've not talked to him,
yes,
he is definitely a mind to tap.
I don't know about that.
But we're almost up with time, and I wanted you to be the wrap-up speaker to bring everything together. So with everything in just like 30 seconds, can you wrap up everything that's been talked about and how?
30 seconds.
Yeah, I know. Talk to Sherry. We'll talk again.
It'll take 30 seconds no matter how long it takes, right? I guess here's what I'll say about change and what I've learned about the people that are most successful through it. There's two things, mindset and motivation. And when it comes to mindset, first and foremost, you got to understand that change is not an event, it's a process, right? A lot of people look at it as it's a hurricane that happens. Well, it's not, because if it was an event, then the impact to everyone that was around it would be the exact same, and it's not. Change is a process. So it's not a matter of what you go through. It's a matter of how quickly you go through something that a lot of other people are already going through. And usually the ones that can get through the process the quickest are the ones who find the most success in dealing with change. So that's the first thing about the mindset. The second thing is that, you know, there is nothing that is, in my opinion, certain or stable other than who you are inside yourself. And a lot of the times we resist change because we think that we're in a stable lifestyle or a stable job or a stable family. And the truth is there is no guarantee on that other than who you are. So if you believe that, then you're a little bit more ready to handle whatever comes at you.
Yeah.
And then as far as motivation, find what is your motive for action. Think about it. Why are you resisting change currently, or why are you interested in changing something? If you're happy, you weren't born like that. Change is the only thing that made you happy. So embrace it, because you may find more happiness. If you're unhappy, and if you're unhappy, change is the only thing that's going to make the difference. So
What is it? whenever you're at the bottom, at least you can always look up.
It's a good thing you guys don't have a red light there, so I'm sure it would be rolling at me.
So, okay, thank you, John, for coming in and being so willing to do this with us
No problem.
today.
Be happy to.
And if you haven't been downtown to see Saatchi Clothing, they're changing their name to 525 Clothing Design and Salon.
Yes,
correct?
another
Yes,
change.
Yeah, another change.
Which is a whole other
Yeah.
story, and I couldn't do that in 30
Which-
seconds.
Which, yeah, which is at 525 North Main. Hello. And they.
South Main.
South Main, yes, South Main. They're down in the Art District. And they are fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Maybe I should have Eric on the show one time and have him cut up a T-shirt for you. Let me tell you.
I'm sure he'd love to do it.
That would be, just for the entertainment value alone
Yeah.
of watching him cut up a T-shirt, it's totally awesome. But he does great work, absolutely fantastic work, and his wife is wonderful also.
Mhm.
In fact, she was featured in our makeover just last month with Sarah back there. But thank you so much, John, for coming in.
No problem.
SaatchiDesigns.com,
Mhm.
SACHE Designs.com. And it's a wonderful, wonderful place. And what I gotta say this about Eric. When you say custom clothing, you think very expensive. He is the same price as if you went to a department store and got your clothes, and it fits you, okay? So, Eric is awesome, so you took a very good risk, and I'm sure that it's paying off very well for you, because you are already expanding. So thank you very much. I want to thank Margaret Banks. I want to thank Chris Bonner and Plaza Beauty School also, and Sherry Henley for allowing us to be here on BOCI TV. And I did not talk about the cruise. Do you want to end with the cruise?
Just tell the viewers where they can text.
Text 55469 and you will get the information. Oh no, BOCI Cruise.
That's right.
Okay.
And they'll get the information, that's all they need.
Okay, you should look into that too.
I'm all about cruises.
All right.
So thank you so much, and be with us next month when we will help celebrate Laughter Month for Tennessee. Laughter Lawyer will be here. And if anybody has a contact to an actual clown, preferably Liesel, our clown in Collierville, our nationally known rodeo clown in Collierville, please get with me, because I want to have a real clown
And it needs to
here.
be local for the
Yes,
viewers,
it
local
needs
to
to be
Memphis
local,
and
local to
Mid-South.
Memphis.
I have a lady, Miss Patches.
Okay, we'll talk. But I want to have an actual real clown here to just entertain us and have fun, okay? So that'll be next month, April 28th, I think it is. It's the last fourth Thursday of the month. So thank you very, very much for being here. Thank you.